Hi, I'm Michelle Begue with a special edition of Latin America Now. But first, as always, our news trivia. Which capital city in Latin America inaugurated its metro railway system after more than a decade of waiting? We'll have the answer later. In Argentina, the official party presidential candidate Sergio Massa lost the presidential race against libertarian economist Javier Milei, who promised radical changes. Among those proposed changes are the elimination of several ministries, like education and health, and the adoption of the US dollar as Argentina's new currency. He was sworn in on December 10th.
Basta del modelo empobrecedor de la casta.
Ecuador was forced into a tough special election this year when former President Guillermo Lasso dissolved Congress in May of 2023. He did it to avoid impeachment over corruption charges. 3 political leaders were assassinated in 2023, including anti-corruption presidential candidate Fernando Villavicencio. Rising drug-related violence became a major concern for voters in the past year as well. Daniel Noboa was elected Ecuador's president on October 15th and sworn in a month later. He's the country's youngest person to assume office after winning a popular election.
Tiene que haber cero tolerancia a la corrupción.
And in Colombia, a story that made headlines around the world was the miracle survival of 4 indigenous children under the age of 13. They all survived a plane crash in the Amazon. On May 1st, a small jet carrying the children, their mother, the pilot, and an indigenous leader crashed in the rainforest. Apparently, the mother initially lived 4 days after the crash. Then she sent the children off to search for help. They lived in the jungle for almost 40 days before being found by rescuers. The stories of their arduous journey, Wilson, the rescue dog who helped find them before getting lost himself, and the leadership and survival skills shown by the eldest girl, Leslie, captivated the world.
Y la madre naturaleza los devolvió.
In 2023, El Salvador unveiled the largest prison in the Americas. It was built to house the growing prison population as the country cracks down on crime. President Nayib Bukele says the prison is a terrorism confinement center and can house up to 40,000 prisoners. This year, the government said they had locked up to 70,000 alleged gang members. The president's bold action has been popular among citizens who had cowered in fear of gang violence. However, reports continue to emerge in regard to human rights violations. They include illegal detainments, abuse of detainees, and 153 incarceration deaths in the first year of the country's state of emergency. Acapulco was hit by complete surprise when Hurricane Otis made landfall in Mexico in October. The devastating storm suddenly and unexpectedly increased into a Category 5 hurricane overnight, with maximum sustained winds of 265 kilometers per hour. The damage it caused was catastrophic. More than a month later, the infamous tourist town is still trying to recuperate. Much of the city still lacks running water. Some of the local business leaders say the reconstruction of the local economy could extend into 2025. While the official death toll of Hurricane Otis is 50, local news agencies say the actual figure could be up to 7 times higher. Now let's go to my colleague Dan Collyns in Peru, who has a special report.
Michelle, dengue hit Peru harder than ever before. 2023 saw the largest number of infections and deaths on record. In the first 7 months of the year, Peru recorded nearly 223,000 cases and 380 deaths. The disease can cause internal bleeding and shock, which can kill if not treated in time. Dengue is endemic in many parts of the country, and every year the mosquito-borne virus makes people ill with body aches and fever. But following Cyclone Yaku that hit the country's northern coast earlier this year, the Aedes aegypti mosquito, which transmits dengue, multiplied even more than usual. Climate change, plus the effects of the El Niño phenomenon, could cause another outbreak in 2024.
And we can't have an end-of-the-year wrap-up without mentioning 2 other new presidents in Central and South America. Paraguay elected the conservative Colorado Party candidate Santiago Peña, marking a continuation of the party leadership. And in Guatemala, anti-corruption leader Bernardo Arévalo won the presidential election, but the road to his January swearing-in has been a bumpy one, as the country tackles a political crisis. And now the answer to our news trivia. The answer is A. After a decade of work and delays, Quito finally has a metro. The railway system was officially inaugurated on December 1st, and commuters were able to start using the metro line at 4:50 a.m. The system consists of 18 trains and 22.5 kilometers worth of tracks, with 15 stops. The transportation project cost the city an estimated $2 billion. Officials say they expect to transport up to 400,000 passengers a day. Many residents say they are happy to know they can trade a 2-hour traffic jam for a 30-minute metro ride and pay less than $50 per trip. And that's it for this year's End of the Year Wrap-Up. We'll see you again soon on Latin America Now.